My name is Kenan LaPrath. Everyone who's born on the planet Earth here has an astrology chart. So every planet, all the 9 planets are in position in various different astrological signs. So the 12 signs of the zodiac are actually a representation from a geocentric point of view of the constellations around the planet. I hope people understand themselves a little bit better so that they can live a more happy, productive life. Well, it depends on the individual, really. You know, some people really put a lot of weight into astrology, and cultures are all over the world, you know, for thousands of years, really. Astrology is the oldest recorded written language. So it goes back a very long way, and there's a lot of detailed evidence that supports the fact that astrology influences people. You know, the moon influences the tides, and we're mostly made up of water, so it makes sense that there are more activities that happen on the full moon that are more based on emotion than anything else. I consider myself maybe a journeyman astrologer at best. There are people out there that are much better at this than I am, because I'm a fairly young guy. I have only been studying it since I was about 18, and there are people that have been into this their entire lives. I like to think of having your natal chart as having kind of like the cheat codes to your life, so that you can understand yourself a little bit better and interact with what might be, you know, understand a little bit better what might be coming your way and deal with it in a harmonious fashion, rather than, you know, what you might tend to do without knowing this. I always tell clients when I'm giving them their first reading, I usually spend about an hour explaining what astrology is and what all the different signs of the zodiac are. And I always remind them that their chart is not necessarily them. It's kind of like a map of their subconscious mind that they might not be fully aware of. So from the time a person is born, depending on the environment, you know, people can have very similar charts and end up as very different people. So the chart is most definitely not the end all. We all have a choice, you know, and every choice we make actually brings us, in my opinion, into a new universe. So, you know, whether you get up 5 minutes early, or, you know, you decide to hit the snooze button and sleep in 5 minutes late, well, you're going to run into different traffic on your way to work. It's mostly going to give you a great perspective on your tendencies and tell you, okay, if you're interacting with this type of person, you know, you want to be careful and avoid maybe being a little bit overly aggressive, you know, and you might not even realize you're doing this, but, you know, again, everyone's going to have a different point of view, a different outlook. So one person might take you being the normal you as being extremely aggressive, or, you know, completely the opposite of that. So there are so many different ways a person can go about life. And astrology gives you a great map as far as how you interact with other people, people interact with you, and not just people. You know, you can have it interact with, you know, your job, or what kind of job is going to be the best job for you, what's going to be, you know, the best, you know, kind of relationship, or the kind of person you want to look for in a relationship. You know, the interact. I mean, you can even go into where you want to live, like the best place for you to live on the planet. A lot of people consider it to be, well, like an occult thing or a pseudoscience, and well, in a way it is. But, like, you know, Carl Jung used astrology to help map his clients, and, you know, actually counsel them based on their astrological chart. Remember when Ronald Reagan got shot, or, you know, was shot at? His wife, Nancy Reagan, was counseled by an astrologer to take a later airplane than they were going to that day. So she, Nancy Reagan, credits astrology for saving his life. The psychic part of it is being able to reach out to other people, feel where they are, and then communicate what they need to hear, or what they uh, should hear, in my opinion, so that they can grow as fast as possible, basically. Well, I actually sat kitty corner from a gentleman at work when I was doing a job when I was 18, and um, he noticed how I was talking on the phone and the kinds of things I was talking to people about, and we started getting into discussion about different religions and all kinds of different mindsets and how people think, and the Robert Anton Wilson books, the Illuminatus trilogy, and he really hit a lot of nails right on the head when he looked at my natal chart, and I was talking to him about things, and he was asking me questions about life events, and it was all just right there. And he kind of brought me into the fold that he was in so that I could, sort of maximize my ability. One of the greatest things I learned there is the more you're able to see through yourself, the more you're able to see through other people. So, so many people lie to themselves all day long and lie to other people because they've been lied to. And, I personally am still in the school of thought where honesty is the best policy, and the more we can honestly communicate with each other about how we feel and what motivates us, the better we can get on as a species and as a planet, really. So, because it's not exactly an easy thing to teach. You really kind of have to want to know in order to find out about this stuff, because it is technically an occult thing. An occult just means hidden, so it's just right behind a very thin veil of an extraordinarily complicated thing. Well, one of the most memorable things for me is I was house sitting for a woman, and she asked me to do a chart for her, and I noticed that there were several very discordant aspects in alignment with her moon in the 8th house, which is essentially relationships and marriage, and the 8th house is specifically about how a person is likely going to die. So this moon in the 8th house, I kind of asked her about it, and I kind of got this weird twinge. She'd had 3 different husbands, and all 3 of them in various manner tried to poison her and kill her because she was a very wealthy woman, so they wanted her money. She actually was brought to tears when I started talking to her about her business, because she puts on such a different aura in order to work with people. That wasn't who she was at all. She was this kind of nice Midwestern gal who really just wanted to be able to be nice to people and have them treat her well back, when really, by putting on this facade, she was attracting all of this negativity. She came to a much better understanding after talking with me. That was a pretty memorable experience, I'd say. But yeah, other than that, I've talked people into deciding to get a job that they've always wanted to get, or stepping out of a relationship that really was not good for them. Because you look at for 2 people's charts, and a lot of the times people are in relationships because they say like opposites attract. Well, really it's because they're feeding into the negative aspects that are already present in a person's chart. So really they're lying more and more about how they feel to the other person, when really they're just getting more and more hurt themselves. I recommend learning astrology for any therapist or psychologist or person that's counseling other people. It's really a great tool to be able to examine people on a deeper level and show them something that's real and has context that's gone throughout all history, that there's always been that kind of mystical nature of astrology right there behind the veil, we'll call it. the planet is transitioning right now into the age of Aquarius and out of the age of Pisces. So this is a transition that kind of started around the industrial age, or the industrial revolution, and since then technology has grown exponentially, and technology is one of the things that's under the sign of Aquarius. So it's all about knowledge, and Aquarius is the water bearer, so it takes water and brings it to the people. Well, that water is knowledge. So they say knowledge is power. Well, in this transition, we all have to be open and caring and very sharing with the information that we do have in order to really keep going as a species. It's necessary to learn about all of these things, because that ignorance ostracizes people, because it is technically an occult thing. An occult just means hidden.